welcome to the Punzi Grange. Today we're going to talk about growing root crops. And since I live in gravelly lake area, root crops aren't always a sure thing. You know, you can wind up with very gnarled roots if you grow it right into the soil with a lot of rocks. So what I did was constructed a couple years ago, I constructed this structure about foot deep. And what I did is I filled it with a mixture of sand, and if you look close you can kind of see that it's sand, compost, and cocoa peat. And cocoa peat is milled coconut husks. So it's a renewable source, and it's equivalent to peat moss, but it's renewable because coconuts are constantly being grown. So that makes a nice mixture for the soil, and obviously I added some fertilizers. And then I grew all kinds of root crops in here, and my favorite radish is what I'm going to show you how we're going to plant today, are these icicle radishes. If you never had these, they're well worth it, but as you can see they're about half as long as a normal carrot, and their skin is so thin and tasty, and I'm going to show you a little bit because I have some to harvest, and we'll show some other harvests. And I love these because you get more radish per pull, so each time you pull out a radish you get more. So I'm going to show you how in this structure I get nice straight rows. So what I do is I have a piece of bamboo that I cut to the length of my bed, and I just place that in here, and then I press it down all the way down to the end, and I'll just do this end just for demonstration. And now we have a nice little groove that we can put our plants in. The seeds are going to go right in this groove, and I grow them about ½ an inch to an inch apart. Depends if you want to thin them. If you don't want to thin them, and then I basically just come and I just drop them in. Switch them over. And put them about 1 inch apart. And if you want to, you can get a seed sower. There's a product called a dial seed sower that makes it easier with smaller seeds. Like these are a little bit bigger than carrot seeds. But if you feel comfortable, you can just do them by hand. And then what you do, you simply pinch. I call it the pinch method. You just come up from the sides and you pinch the soil over the row, go all the way up to the end, and then I just pat it down. I'm going to leave my marker here so that I know where I stopped. Now I'm going to show you some of the fruits of my labors here. First, we'll show you one of the radishes that I planted, I'd say about 25, 28 days ago. I'm going to rinse it off. Now look at that. Isn't that a nice root? I'm going to make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to take a taste. Not too warm yet. It's getting warm outside, but it still's got a nice flavor. And as I mentioned, you can see barely any skin, so they're not tough at all. But you got to get them at this size, otherwise they get pithy. They won't taste so good, but you can see these are perfect. Now we're going to look at some of the other crops. We have carrot, and right here on the end, look at this beauty. Can you get a close-up on that? I'm going to pull this out. These are planted probably, I'm pretty sure I planted these first, second week in April, once the soil temperatures got up into the 50s. We'll rinse this off and take a nice look at that. Oh. I think I got to eat this one too. What do you think? Yeah. That's really tasty. Now, in addition to carrots, the next crop I have here is one you may not be familiar with. This is called Hamburg, and it's actually, if you look at it, you might recognize it. It looks a little bit like flat parsley. That's because it is. It's called a root parsley, and it actually forms a root. And let's see, that's a little one. Let's see if we can get a bigger one. There we go. They're just starting, so they're not too big yet. We'll probably wait another month before we actually harvest these. But they'll still be good to take a nibble on. Now these are really sweet, and they go well in a stew with parsnip and other root crops. Let's see what this tastes like. Yeah, it has a little bit of that parsley taste. And the last one I'm going to show you is the parsnip. Now I'll probably let this get a little bit bigger. And there's your parsnip. You can see once these fill out, they're going to be nice and long and deep and straight. And that's what you want when you do root crops. So if you like growing root crops and you have soil like I do in Gravelly Lake, a raised bed is the way to go. Till next time, this is Peter Punzi. Live long and garden.